classes, I implemented the mind map method. In my opinion, mind maps are very useful for in-depth analysis of the problem, but also they help to form a holistic view of possible causes and its likely solutions. A wide and complex analysis of the problem is important in solving engineering problems. During the classes, students solve an engineering problem. Each group solves the same problem. Students draw a mind map in order to find the possible causes of identified problem or their solutions. Often a problem arises from several causes rather than one, so using the mind map allowed to build a tree structure showing the ramification of that problem. Thanks to it, students carry out the analysis in a comprehensive way. They find many sub-causes, the connection between them, and choose adequate solutions. The class starts with short introduction and explanation of basic principles of using mind map method. It's about 10 minutes. The next 10 minutes are used to present the problem to be solved. At this point, the students start to draw a mind map with flip chart cards and markers. Each four-person team works independently. At the beginning, students identify the main problem, name it, and put it in the center of the flip chart card. Next, they drew the branches of the problem, representing its main causes or key possibilities of solving it. It is good to label each branch with short phrases or keywords that uniquely identify the cause or solution. Then students draw subsequent branches. It is good if the individual branches are visualized in some way, for example, the use of different colors, pictures, diagrams that stimulate the imagination of team members. In my opinion, the contact with group members, like exchanging views, opinion on possible causes or solution, itself has an impact on stimulating creativity. Just like during brainstorming, the ideas of other people stimulate students to give the creative ideas. They can also develop or supplement the ideas of their predecessors. Thanks to that, they indicate solutions that better respond to the examined problem. Further branches are added until all team members think that all the solutions were found. When students draw a mind map, the teacher is available for each group, answers questions about the guidelines for drawing a mind map or correctness of specific identified causes and solutions. The students submit essay in the next class and they are subsequently checked by the teacher. In the following week, I present the main advantages and disadvantages of the drawn mind maps, the correctness of its application, and the possible elements to improve. The mind map itself is not an element of assessment, but it is an element which helps to meet the criteria assigned to essay more fully. Students are also consulted once a week when they can obtain additional information about the work they have done and ask more questions. They take part in consultation if they need additional explanations.
The active learning has been developed as follows. An exercise has been proposed to the students after the end of each of the 4 modules the course is made of. They had 1 week to solve at home and submit it. Moreover, students have been communicated that the results of these assignments will contribute to the final evaluation. After this, the exercise solution has been discussed within the classroom together with us and the students. Some points of the exercise have been debated by means of teacher-paced Socrative quizzes, whereas the most difficult ones have been developed by the professors while being discussed with students. Since the course is attended by many students, the use of Socrative quizzes helped us to understand if some of them had particular problems about specific point of the exercise, whereas most of the efforts have been dedicated to the discussion of the most complex parts. In this case, we have encouraged the direct participation of the students by sharing with them some hints to correctly solve specific points and listening to their doubts and suggestions.
The active learning method feedback exchange was implemented in the online course in order to enable a certain exchange of students even during the corona pandemic and to initiate soft skills, communication, self-reflection and critical thinking asynchronously and online as optimally as possible. An online tool called DoIT within the learning management system StudIP was used to provide students with a transparent time frame for the tasks and to automatically assign partners for the peer review process. The processing of the tasks followed a three-step approach based on interactive constructivism, a teaching learning theory. Each time a theory is dealt within a task, the individual biographical starting position and attitude towards the topic should be communicated in a short caption. Subsequently, the new construction phase, the students worked on literature and other medias shared by the teacher to construct something new. This means they learned about new theories or at least aspects of these theories. Finally, the so-called deconstruction phase, students check the newly learned theories for missing aspects or omissions, and they look again at their own biography or socialization, but this time with theoretical knowledge. Let me add an example here. The students had 3 tasks when working on the first work package. First, they were asked to deal with their own media socialization and describe it in a few sentences. Then the students read a text about mediatized society and the so-called digital natives. Here the students constructed something new for them, namely a new theory. Afterwards, the students were asked to check the theories they had learned for omissions, which means they had to consider which aspects of the theory might be incomplete or missing completely. Finally, a reflective look at the previously formulated own media socialization should take place. After this intensive individual work phase, the students wrote a review on the results of their partners. They were asked to elaborate their perspectives and to address particularly critical points. A total of 6 work packages were processed in this way, and 6 reviews were written accordingly.
We have almost 80 students. We divided them into 2 groups in 2 different classrooms, and each group did his clinical role-play. For each group, we asked for 4 volunteers that had to do an invasive procedure simulation, like a liver biopsy, in an outpatient settings. The role-play takes place as follows. 1. Objective definition. We determined what we wanted to accomplish in order to decide what to include in the exercise and why. We decided not to include non-invasive procedures or follow-up visits. We decided to focus on problems related to clinical documentation and communication topic. 2. Setting organization. We make it the more realistic as possible. We place the examination table and all medical devices in the classroom. 3. Roles creation. We develop each character background information and instruction through a storyboard we wrote previously. 4. Exercise introduction. We engage all the students in this scenario by describing them and the problem and asking them to write the errors they find during the exercise of their teammates. 5. Role preparation. We took the 4 volunteers out of the classroom and we give them 10 minutes in order to read about their character and let them adapt to their role. We had 2 doctors, 1 patient and 1 fussy parent. We involved also a professional nurse that had to make 2 errors: incorrect patient identification and wrong medication. 6. Role play running. We did the role play and we recorded it. During the exercise, other students had to observe and to write the errors peers did. 7. Debriefing. In a plenary session, we debriefed students on what they have learned via class discussion. We analyzed the video in a plenary session with the risk manager, with the quality manager, and with the clinical manager in order to explain errors made by residents. We didn't do any assessment about communication skills in the role play. The difficulties we found were 1. To collect all needed materials, informed consent, forms, individual protection devices, policy and procedures, etc. 2. Make the storyboard to give them in which we explain the diagnosis and procedures and all they have to know.